Hey, yo, I forgot to take the graphic down. Great.
It's a cool graphic, though.
It is a great graphic. How's it going, everybody? It's John Escudero, a.k.a. Ya Boy. I'm here with Greg and Nick. Say what up to everybody, man.
What up, everybody?
Man.
Yeah. Got that shit out the way.
Yeah, we got it. Greg, I have a song recommendation for you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And this is also for anyone in the chat listening. Yo, you guys know the song Separate Ways, Worlds Apart by Journey?
That is a hilarious reference, yes.
It's a good song. Check it out. Chris Daughtry and Lizzie Hale from the band Hailstorm, they did a duet cover of it, and it's really good. Go check that out.
My wife
Did you?
almost got me tickets to Journey for last week for free, but I was like, I only know one of their songs. I don't want to waste it.
You probably know more of Journey than you think.
Maybe.
That's true.
Nick, are you aware that I used to walk out to Separate Ways when I wrestled?
I am not, but again, this is just the perfect full circle moment there.
I also wanted to point out that this is, probably a good time. Probably a good time to point out that this
Jericho.
What's up? Did that fucking hand wave? I thought that hand waved. I thought it moved.
Oh no,
It's got like the vibration lines on it.
No, it did not.
Man.
Oh, it did move.
You did it?
Okay.
No, it fucking didn't.
I didn't see it move.
Bro, I thought
Focus in on it.
I thought it went up and down, man. I thought the fingers went up and down. I swear to God.
I think it does like a weird like 3D thing where like it puts a second one there layered.
Fuck me up, for all you audio listeners. Yeah, that was weird. Hi,
Sorry,
Mac.
audio listeners.
Hi, Jesus. How you doing out there, man? What up, everybody?
I wanted to say that we are obviously glad to be here with you guys for a Dirt Sheet Radio, as we are every week on the flagship. After this show, of course, the party will not end because me and Nick will most likely be on our 15-hour live stream of Linkin Park hits to count down to the announcement.
Yes.
Whatever that may be.
Is that tomorrow?
The weekly
Yes.
Linkin Park cast.
What time?
6 o'clock.
In the morning?
6 p.m.
Oh, that's lame.
All right, Greg, get ready. We're gonna make this a real thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Jesus brought up Yuya Uemura out for 6 fucking months right before Wrestle Kingdom.
The wrong 6.
Brutal. The wrong 6 months. Matt says that is literally my Matt Tremont walkout song. Is he your Matt Tremont? That's so beautiful.
I assume he meant like a car or something.
I love
You know
that.
what,
Yeah,
Greg? I think
No,
we
that's-
did talk about this a long time ago because now I'm having like a flashback to us discussing something similar to this.
Oh no, we're rehashing content. We've already got.
No.
We are just as bad as Watch Mojo. No, that's
Hey! I never talked about the cover.
Hey man,
Paul Heyman.
Hangman. We might as well talk about Hangman. Hangman Page, the guy that got the cover of the show this week.
Ah, you mean Endeavor?
Endeavor, Hangman, that's called Pyro, Human Torch.
All our fire puns on the Dynamite recap show earlier.
angry bearded man.
It's lit.
Anyway, they had done it. If you weren't aware, AEW had put out a social media video earlier in the day that also played on the television show, where Swerve Strickland, this really touching moment, and like, man, this is where I grew up, and I finally got all this money. I'm gonna buy my childhood home. It was really touching. It really was.
Nice signing bonus.
That's so sweet. I said to myself, man, Hangman should burn that shit down.
Dude, when I started seeing that one picture where Randy Orton's at the Wyatt family compound and everyone is just sharing that,
everybody
I'm just
started
like,
joking. Everybody started joking like Hangman should definitely burn that shit down. Like that would be perfect. And so the segment starts and the Hangman's music hits and he doesn't he doesn't walk out, and I was like, no. They're gonna fucking burn the house down.
They're gonna do it. I said this on the Dynamite recap show. I stood up from my seat and I was pointing at the TV, and I'm just like, "This is it. This is where it happens."
It's so rare that you get to use that term and it be literal.
They burned the house down.
Wrestling's crazy, y'all.
This is a great thing about wrestling, right?
Why is it this way?
This is what we get to talk about at the water cooler the next day. Hey, did you see a Swerve Hangman Page burn down Swerve Strickland's childhood home?
Eviscerating all those memories.
Looks at you just oddly.
Apparently, after the show went off the air, Tony Khan announced that he cannot sanction these men. He cannot sanction this cage match if they're gonna have it at all.
That's an odd thing to say offline.
He should call the police. I just think if you can't sanction this violence, then call the cops. Because like, who's allowing this? They're gonna fucking try to kill each other.
Fucking Tony Khan walking out like Tommy Lee Jones. I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
This is not a joke anymore. Like, Hangman just burned his house down. Like, you can't just be like, I'm not sanctioning this. Then who is? Like, don't let this happen.
This is the FBI.
Max says if Swerve does not come out that cage match with an armed weapon, he will be disappointed. I think he's got some stereotypes we have to avoid there.
Especially in Chicagoland.
In Chicago, especially. I don't think.
So it's weird, right?
The crowd's going to get triggered and run off.
While you may want to avoid some stereotypes, at the same time, he is a military man.
That's
he will
true.
probably have a licensed issue.
I actually forgot that.
He is
They
trained.
never mentioned that. Jim Ross would be so disappointed. They never
Other
mentioned
than,
that.
other than the camo pants he was wearing.
Once in a while, right? He's got great endurance. Maybe Excalibur will bring it up. But
It's always Jim Ross, I feel, that talks about his military background. Here's another point that I brought up on the Dynamite recap show. Go check it out whenever you can, every Wednesday night following Dynamite.
That was a fucking burner. Damn.
I see what you did there. But remember, we are in Chicagoland for this. Remember, Chicago authorities look the other way when it comes down to involving fire in professional wrestling.
What? Arson is not an issue in Chicago?
Listen, Extreme Rules, they look the other way. They look the other way at WrestleMania 22. I'm just saying.
They looked
In
the
fact,
other
a lot
way
of
at
fire.
Anarchy Rules and Sabu was supposed to be banned for the...
it
Right,
depends
yeah.
on who you are, right? That's always how that goes. If you got the money, then they'll leave you alone. But like Nick said, I think
John, The Wire is not real life. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, listen.
Hey,
I know
John,
more
like,
than
is
I.
it though?
I think I'm going to break bad.
I think there's a lot of, you know how the end of a television show is like any similarities to real life are completely coincidental.
Coincidental.
Like, are you sure?
Stuff we never see in wrestling.
But so yeah, like I mentioned, this segment as Hangman before, burning the house down was cool, but he legitimately cut an incredible promo. Like as he was burning the house, as he was pouring gasoline all over the house.
The house went up very fast, by the way.
Shitting on
It did,
the house was suspiciously perfect when it came out of burn. He was
Like, not only
sitting in
did it
front of it.
go
I was
up
scared.
perfectly, but at one point it seemed like one side of it seemed to particularly explode on its own volition.
Yeah, the front porch was like.
Was I the only one thinking that it's not going to catch on fire? It's going to freaking explode.
Yeah, but he
Actually, the
Hangman
explosion
did
was
say
kind of
that.
uncomfortable because I thought, like, oh god, is this an uncontrolled explosion? Is Hangman far enough away?
Are
That's
the
what I was
neighbors
thinking.
okay?
I was like, because there was no cut, there was no camera cut, so I was like, oh fuck, he's like really sitting in front of that thing. So I was like, all right, like is this live? Did we tape this? But no, it turned out great. I think that the photographs that they came out afterwards are, this is the kind of stuff that 20 years from now you pull up your $50 copy of PW Insider because they don't make it anymore, and it's this kind of shit on the cover, and you go, man, remember when they used to use real fire in wrestling? Now they only use the hologram stuff. Yeah, I personally I loved it. I thought it was like I mentioned on the Dynamite show. I thought this was exactly the because I figure on Sunday they after Sunday they probably won't see each other again for maybe ever or for a
Sure.
long time. And this is the perfect last segment for them, like the last piece of plot development before they actually go to war on Sunday.
How many homes have been set on fire by pro wrestling?
Too many.
Like, too many.
More than there should be for any other form of entertainment.
I'm obviously thinking of Randy Orton and the Wyatt compound most immediately.
Michael Walters, thank you for joining us. He says, is it weird he wants to see Edge versus Omega? No, it's not weird. They're two Canadians.
The wrestlers
They
are
have
bad.
fight
I
each
can see
other.
that being. I could certainly see that being a match. Somebody on paper would be like, "That's a really interesting pair." My immediate thought for that is like, Edge is kind of tall for Omega to be reaching up for that one winged angel.
It's
true.
them damn legs.
The lankiness. It's like any Angelico up there.
Undertaker did burn down his own funeral,
Yep.
his home.
The precipice of Kane.
Created
right.
Kane.
Yes.
So, listen, I don't know if we should have waited until the match on Sunday, but I really did want to talk about how Swerve versus Hangman ended up being one of the best things this company's ever done. It's incredible. I mean, I guess you could always jinx it by talking about it now and then Sunday, like the match goes really wrong. Like the Hangman brings his
Don't
ankle,
sting
like,
hoe
2
in it.
minutes in. It's fucked up. Damn it.
That is not where I thought you were taking it. I thought like it was gonna go wrong, like FMW style, where the fire gets too out of control.
No, fuck no, God, that's
We just
Chicago.
gotta
You don't want to.
abandon the match.
You can't do that in Chicago. That's
Great
a
Chicago
horrible-
Fire Part 2.
And it was
No.
caused by Hangman and Swerve. Incredible.
Could you imagine?
This is pro wrestling, baby.
See, and granted, I guess it could still happen, even though it only takes a few days. This would absolutely be an Inferno match setup.
Right?
I don't know if they can call it that, right? A fire match.
Pyromania.
Pyro. Oh God, I hate fire. Fire Finanza. You know how Tony Khan is. It's
Fire
always so
Finanza.
fucking dumb.
Fire, oh my God.
Pyropalooza.
Oh God.
I was gonna say the Ring of Fire, but I remember WWE took that.
Whoa,
They
it was
did.
the burning thing.
So what? How?
They took a name they took a name they didn't need to take because they already had a name for the match.
Do we think that Tony Khan announcing that it's a unsanctioned steel cage match adds anything? Like, how does that change the cage match? Does this mean that they can just disregard it? Like, it's there, but so fucking what type thing?
It's that is kind of weird in a sense because like all it really means now is like the cage match is still the same, but all it really means is it doesn't count.
Also, then whoever wins or loses, it doesn't stick to their record.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Why does this feel like the match that should have had the barbed wire steel cage stipulation?
You might as well. Honestly, there's no, because this could be one of those, because they said it's unsanctioned, right? So that means like if you load it up with props, then who did this? Like, so
Someone had to sanction for the steel cage that AEW uses to be there.
to even lower, like who's gonna lower than this?
I was actually just thinking that if it's unsanctioned, which worker is putting it? Fucking Scath.
Sorry, they paid me, man. You gave Swerve that new contract. That's on you.
Just like an extra beatdown happening backstage. It's the union.
Oh man, that's funny.
Listen, if they did it on screen where like Hangman was like dragging some poor production person to press the fucking button, like, I'd really appreciate that.
I would
That'd be funny,
appreciate the attention to that detail, which is just like someone had to do it.
Lower the cage, you piece of shit.
And now I'm thinking of it being like those old TNA Clockwork Orange House of Fun cage matches.
Max says somebody on Reddit at 7:50 last night posted a photo of them doing a pre-tape for Hangman sitting outside the house. I never saw it, thankfully. I was very excited to guess on my own that, or not even guess.
Stalking Hangman.
I'm sure somebody was like in the area. That's weird that it's always like a wrestling fan, right? Like, how did they find him in the middle of the forest or wherever?
Mm-hmm. Imagine looking out your backyard and like, hey, that's Hangman. What's he doing to my neighbor's house?
Fuck! He just set the neighbor's house on fire!
Did they get old lady Janice out of there?
Somebody find Cletus!
Oh my gosh! What did you? What we talked? Me and Nick kind of gave most of our thoughts about it on the Dynamite show, but what did you think of this, Greg?
I thought it was a good segment. I thought it's probably the least boring thing Adam Page has ever done. His typical, like, how do you say, his typical poor attempts at inflection actually really work well here for his, like, weird it's a typical choice to make with that weird sort of like I'm quiet at one moment and then I come up and then I come right back down thing he has. But like
scary.
He's unhinged Hangman now, and maybe this is the guy maybe this is the person who's finally a bit more interesting than the fake actual, noose guy that I didn't care for so many years. I wonder how that's gonna work out for him in that that babyface run, because I feel like you have to keep this character. Like, I don't think you can go back to old babyface Hangman.
Actually, I disagree with that a lot. I don't think that this character.
It would just be less interesting.
I guess it depends on how they handle that, but I don't think that this character is meant to be Hangman. I don't think that this is Hangman. This is who Hangman is, or according to at least how they've been telling the story with him. I think that Hangman is fucking lost in his vengeance. At least that's kind of what they've been saying, or at least what Swerve told him last week. But I also am like, who are you to tell Hangman that? You don't get to say that to him.
Whoa, Max here.
Hello, Macklin.
I just no-clipped in. Sorry about that, boys.
He's T-posing.
God damn it, John. You gotta do something about this front door.
Right? I gotta lock this damn door. No, I
what
just
are you guys talking about?
We're talking about Swerve and Hangman. I basically saying that I don't think that this dark Hangman is meant to be like a permanent, like a permanent character for him. I think this is something that he needs to go through. I do think he can come out of the other side not exactly the same. I don't think he's supposed to come out of the other side the same. I think we're supposed to be aware that he's capable of this now.
I think he wins and just kind of like comes out of the fog.
I don't see him winning at all. I don't think
you don't really? No.
I don't think he's supposed to. I don't think he can win.
Didn't he lose both matches to Swerve? Though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if he loses
he's
his
okay.
match, then he just goes deeper into psychosis, right?
It depends on how they handle it.
Puts the horn mask on.
Right? He's like, fuck it. It depends on how they handle it, right? Because I guess in a way, Swerve Strickland has it coming. So maybe Hangman should finally get his comeuppance. But he's also
in a sense.
Also been so aggressive. Like, do you reward that narratively? I don't think usually you do. Usually you're supposed to learn a lesson.
I also argue that like on one hand, yes, you're absolutely correct. The idea that that Hangman shows vengeance and then vengeance won, and like he's sort of proven right. That's like kind of a weird place to leave that.
Thanks for joining us, Tyler.
Yo. At the same time, yeah, I think the idea is that if he's going to continue down this heel run, then like he can't be allowed to have that victory. Like, where's the rage then if he gets that?
Yeah.
You got to look at it this way, Greg, too. Like, Hangman, like, this was just a regular feud until Swerve took it to his house and his baby's crib. And then Hangman had to live for 3 months and go on a spiritual walk after the blood drinking match. And then now this is just Hangman getting revenge for him breaking into his house and talking to his fucking kid. And then you had, on top of it, you had the crowd get on Swerve's side when he was being a diabolical human being. So when I say Hangman's not wrong in this, I don't believe Hangman's wrong in this. I believe Hangman's just evening the score now.
Yeah. But you gotta remember too, you're gonna have Hangman over in Chicago where they're always known for cheering the heels.
Yeah.
But he's got the CM thing going too.
That's the other issue.
I printed Brett was right shirts in '98. I get it. But I have to think that this isn't a short-term thing. So, like, if we are continuing down this path at Hangman, you cannot quell his rage by giving him the thing he wants.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But like John said, he doesn't think that this is a permanent character.
No, not permanent, but I don't think it's over yet.
Yeah, but how?
Where else do they go?
Yeah,
I don't know that you can do anything. Like an actual shooting duel, like you actually have to take 10
Someone
paces.
will die.
10 paces
until
in this case, I'm going with the military man over the cowboy. But
I'm saying. Well, like if it's a duel, does he get access to like military weaponry or like? Because then it would be like a Cowboys. That would be like a Cowboys advantage. They have like the one. Wow. Like sorry.
Fucking Swerve wins by airstrike.
Yeah, I was gonna say Predator missile incoming.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. Mac is in the comments with us. Hey Mac.
Hey.
But like I said a minute ago, where do you go with this if Hangman goes down 0-3 and you just don't? Oh, hey Nick, you just don't.
Jesus Christ.
You just dive deeper into the psychosis. Like I don't think Hangman can go more crazy, even more crazy than this. Like, dude hasn't shaved or showered in like 3 months. Like,
I just think 2 losses in a row, like back to back, and not even like in a row. I mean, like literally, like almost a week later, we're just getting smoked twice is crazy. But
I mean,
you said on the Dynamite podcast, John, that you were like, "Oh no, he's going to do the what's he call it?
The dead eye off the top of the cage through a flaming table."
That will actually murder them both.
They're both gonna die.
Do you guys remember
what it's gonna murder is Hangman's knees?
Yes.
Oh
yeah. You guys remember when Hangman Page gave the dead eye from Adam Cole with the barbed wire around his head like Jesus on Easter?
That was incredible. But he's done the dead eye from high places before. I feel like you only do that once and then you learn a lesson and you go, "Oops, I don't think I like doing this."
The impact of that was brutal.
Page is not the smartest cookie.
Yeah. We saw what happened the last time.
Terminal velocity.
We saw what happened the last time a wrestler jumped off the cage and got cold feet on the way down.
Oh gosh, Adam, the last Adam.
Yeah.
Adam!
Hey, by the way, did you see that? He's out of the cast now, and he's training with FTR and Steve Borden, which is awesome.
That's got to be like 6 months still, like 3 or 4 months.
He's
an old man. I don't want him back immediately.
Us getting another Borden in wrestling. Holy shit, dude!
At least for a couple matches.
Yeah.
Special attraction type thing. I don't want to see him on Dynamite wrestling.
No, I want to see him like the Von Erichs, give him a title, let him defend it once every 3 months,
I don't even want him to get a belt. I just kind of want to, hey, it's Sting's son. He helped Darby. We did a tag match. It was cool.
Von Erichs
Darby's brother.
It's Sting Jr.
Darby's brother's here to save the day.
Oh, yeah.
Moxley's beating up Darby and Sting's son runs out.
Where do you think that thing's going?
I can't imagine. I'm sure that, like I said, it's a special appearance thing. Tony Khan, I'm sure, will bring him in. It's connected directly to Darby. They have a built-in thing. He's been on screen already. He can.
Surely will go much better than Teal Piper.
A lot of will go better than that.
Or, what's her name? Lacey Von Erich.
Oh yeah.
Lacey Von Erich at least got to be on TV for a few months.
Remember when she was walking around that convention saying, like, "You guys killed my uncle. You guys killed all my uncles." Or she was like drunk and she was like blaming WWE employees. I was like, they got nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with this.
The only one they dealt with was Gary.
Who did she put her arm around in that Twitter video?
I think it was like Ted DiBiase.
Hey, she's like, you killed my uncle, and he was like, what the fuck?
WWE may be maybe indirectly responsible for a lot of dead wrestlers, but I don't think those are one of them.
Right?
Like, at least of all the ones to get wrong.
But anyway, to
You
close
didn't
off
talk
this,
to your grandfather on that one.
just to close off the Swerve Hangman part of the conversation and then segue into the rest of the All Out card.
Yes, sir. I should look that up.
I don't believe that. I don't see how you can move forward from this. But that being said, I guess Swerve has, like Hangman said in the promo, Swerve has the 2 wins in the draw, but he's never actually beaten Hangman, like full on. Like once Brian Cage helped him the second time, I think there was bullshit interference, and that's kind of the challenge he laid out to him this time, and that's kind of what made me feel like, oh shit, they're just gonna give it to Swerve, and then and then he would have accomplished
I don't remember
that
the
too.
finish. Well, didn't he hang him?
The first time Brian Cage the second time Brian Cage came and bashed him in the back of the head with a cinder block, and then he hung
With
him.
what, his career?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy keeps paying. The guy keeps getting paid. He got his wife a job too, right? Didn't they sign him?
Yep.
What does she do? I don't see her on TV.
You're supposed to do like backstage interviewing.
Listen, AEW over the past year has not had a good track record of hiring backstage female commentators. That's why Renee Parquette is running all over the backstage area trying to get different shots of different doors.
But she's actually great. Like, I'm sure, like, she's actually good, and I'm sure she's proactive and comes up with like ideas for shit like that. Now they do like before the scrums, instead of just having a screen, Renee comes out with RJ and they just talk shit until everybody's
They
ready.
have great chemistry together.
And
I'm
she has
pretty
her
sure
own-
that was.
Dude, RJ City is one of the most underrated signings in AEW history. He is so fucking good. He's
They're
There's
good
a
on
few AEW signings that Jim Cornette has said nice things about.
And there's a lot of things that he does that people don't talk about. Like, he's good. He's got charisma on camera, but then there's also like creative things.
He has
that-
other jobs.
Yeah,
The
like
Mariah
the Tony
May-
Storm,
the
Mariah
Mariah
May
May
thing. That's him.
Yeah.
And I feel like if this Moxley thing is based on is taking anything from any films, then somebody probably spoke to the culture in RJ City. Who's actually-
Let me
I
tell you. Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say I saw one thing with RJ City that was not an AEW production, which is really interesting, which is with Andy is it Andy Williams? Who's the butcher?
you can just call him Butcher.
I call him Andy Complains because that's his name on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's doing an on stage thing with RJ City and Colt Cabana, and RJ just looks right at him and just goes, "So how does it feel just looking like a huge racist?"
Oh, Jesus.
And he's just like, "Yeah, man, you know this is my face and this is what I got. Like I'm not, but this is me."
It's that fucking
Like
dude.
Andy just completely owns it.
It's the
Andy
mustache
Williams.
and all the tattoos and the now bald head.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Greg, I think it's crazy that you think it's gonna continue because I can't see where the fuck it would go. It would literally have to kill each other.
Well,
But,
I don't see him going, like, I don't know, it feels weird to just go right back to being a babyface after this.
I don't think he has to go back to being like okay, like I'm smiling tomorrow. I think it's that's why I said it's interesting how we got here because like if he wins, like you said, he finally gets that cathartic moment and then he walks off into the sunset.
The sunset, putting the darkness behind him. And you know what? That's what
Even
I'm
though-
going to go with. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
He
they have to
just
do a
came back
segment.
with the darkness.
They have to do a segment of him locking away all the black clothes like Spider-Man with the symbiote. Like
Yes.
he puts it away.
Now, do we just do the walking away from the trash can?
Yes.
Hey, John, I just wanted to mention one thing while we were talking about Mariah May and Tony Storm a minute ago. So last week, I went to go visit my mother, and I usually go there after I get out of work, spend the day with her on Thursdays. And I was watching TV at her house, and I was watching the All In. I was watching the All In, kind of bootlegging it, just watching the Mariah May and and Tony Storm match again, and kind of fell asleep in the middle of it, and I guess the TV goes off after like 10 minutes. So I went to bed. I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my grandmother was like, "What was on the TV this morning?" And I explained the Mariah May and Tony Storm feud to her. I said, she's like a 1950s movie star. She had an understudy turned on her. My grandmother goes, "Oh, that's like All About Eve." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the movie All About Eve." And she's like, "Oh, can you show me this?" So I literally went on YouTube and like showed her the beginning of the Mariah May Tony Storm angle all the way to the end, and she's like, "Yeah, that's just All About Eve." And then I showed her the guy from American Movie Classics, and my grandmother goes, "How the hell did they get him?" And my grandmother was like, "This is amazing." She's like, "Who did all this?" And I was like, "Oh, a guy named RJ City. He's like a 1950s, 60s, 70s movie aficionado." She's like, "This literally deserves an Emmy." My grandmother said. My grandmother is 85, so she's pretty on top of like 40s, 50s, and 60s movies. She's like, "Oh my God, this is so compelling."
That's incredible.
Yeah,
but Greg, were you able to pull up that card?
Yes. I have what I believe to be All Out 2024.
All right, so I guess Nick says Hangman is winning. Mac said Hangman is winning. Greg,
I'm gonna stick with Swerve, but we'll see what happens.
I was really convinced that Swerve would win that match on Sunday, but I didn't.
Until he burned the house down.
We'll see. He might be too emotionally fucked up now. They burned his house down. We'll see.
Maybe he will suffer from garganoism.
That's a cool thing that changes the dynamic of this match.
Garganoism?
Well, compared to the other ones, is that Hangman came into these matches frazzled and fucked up.
Yeah.
And Swerve had the mental advantage. I think every time.
Yeah. No one's ever gotten into Swerve's head like this before.
This time, Hangman left Swerve crying in the middle of the ring at the end of the fucking show.
The last guy who got into Swerve's head like this,
Top
playing
dollar.
playing with some terms here. The last person who got into Swerve's head like this got put through fucking glass. If we want to bring up the AR Fox program.
Oh God.
Tony Khan said AR Fox never worked here. Don't think about him.
I don't remember that.
AR Fox said, "Oh, I thought passports were good forever."
God damn it.
That's fucked up.
Oh,
So-
I wrestled in Germany for CZW in 2006. I got a passport.
We've
My
got
bad, bro.
we've got the rest of the All Out card. There's a couple of matches I think that have to get put on this Saturday. I think there's a Continental Championship contenders situation going on Saturday where we're going to find out 3 of the other contenders. You can kind of guess who those are going to be based on these matches. I guess.
We need to figure out which 3 people are losing to Okada.
I'm kind of torn on the Lance Archer and Mark Briscoe one, even though I think Mark Briscoe is going to win.
Yeah.
They could go out in left field and just finally, because I mean they've been doing the thing with Archer backstage where he was slamming jabronis' heads into lockers and throwing around extras and shit. Like he could literally pull this off, beat Mark Briscoe, and get a Ring of Honor world title shot if they really want to go that route.
So here's something I thought was interesting. He was banging people's heads and shit, and they called him Lance Hoyt. They did not call him Lance Archer. They called him Lance Hoyt. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I wonder.
Is still, Lance Archer on the website?
I'm sure they didn't update it. They haven't updated it yet. I'm sure they were doing a little.
No, I saw a match
thing.
card. I saw a match card with him earlier that had Mark Briscoe on it. Let me see. He's still labeled as Lance Archer.
Yes.
I wonder if that was one of those things where it was like, when Batista would do something like, "Hey, Dave."
Yeah, because they haven't done a thing on television yet beyond that when they called him that. Tyler says it reminded me of Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, the fire.
Yep.
I think that's the only element, though, the fact that they burned the house down.
I think that's. I assume that's
gotta
exactly
be Kane.
But shit, the rest of this card, well, Orange Cassidy versus Brian Keith, Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe, Konosuke Takeshita versus the Beast Mortos. I think this match is just
Are those the contenders?
Yeah, these are the contenders.
Okay.
I think this is just a vehicle to get Takeshita versus Okada going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Which again, Takeshita and Mortos, that's gonna slap, literally and figuratively.
So
Here's why I like the idea of Archer and Briscoe is just I could see that going either way as well. And the best part is, say Archer wins, you're gonna have Orange Cassidy versus a bunch of monsters, or you're gonna have Briscoe in there being Mark Briscoe.
So are we gonna say Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy and Okada in the 4-way?
That sounds like the way to go, but I would say I would shake it up and put Lance Archer in there just because
I would too.
you know, yeah. I think it's gonna give you Orange Cassidy, Lance Archer, Takeshita, and Okada. That's actually a really fucking great 4-way if we can get to that.
In a classic sense, like I guess Orange is the only babyface you'd need.
Yeah.
But I could see them wanting to do the 2v2, 2 faces, 2 heels.
Same.
With Briscoe.
There are other
The crowd loves Briscoe.
There are other monsters too. It's like, I mean, Takeshita is a fucking powerhouse. Like, he's established in canon as somebody that's very strong. Lance Archer, and then Okada, who's Okada. Orange Cassidy standing there would be really funny getting his ass kicked. That actually works. That's a good dynamic.
What about the wild card dynamic of Brian Keith, Lance Archer, and Mortos?
That's fucking ridiculous. That would just be the funniest Okada job match ever. He's 3 minutes.
Okada loses.
To Brian fucking Keith.
Brian Keith gets the victory because Jericho wanted this.
Respect.
Hey, when is the Continental Classic? Is that in like October?
November.
Okay.
They're probably hoping Kenny's back by then.
So who do you think the fall guy is in this match? Briscoe?
That would be an interesting choice.
It depends on what like I said, it depends on who's in this. If probably Orange Cassidy or a Lance Archer.
No, Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe is the battle of who's going to be the fall guy for the match. Because I could see it being either one of those two.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
right.
The Orange Cassidy and Brian Keith match will be if Brian Keith beats Orange Cassidy has to give the $7,000 to Jericho for ruining his coat during the orange juice segment during the pandemic.
You're fucking ridiculous.
Vortex, baby.
Yeah. So we also have the singles match for the AEW International Championship. Will Ospreay versus Pac.
Pac.
That's gonna be awesome.
Pac.
I think you go. I'm going to go with Ospreay in this one. It's too soon for him to drop the belt.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an amazing match. I can actually see Ospreay kicking out a Black Arrow.
Yeah, I'm sure Ospreay is gonna. Actually, I would have Ospreay. I'd have Ospreay lose here, but he just won, so it's okay. Yeah. Pac has a belt already. He doesn't need to.
You can't drop the big baby face on the V1, John.
Imagine a world where
they did that to him, to Ibushi.
Pac once again is international and trios champion, and then his partners have a tag title match. They can have all the gold after this.
I stand. I support.
But they will not. No, Will Ospreay definitely wins this match. Yeah. And I'm sure it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Awesome match.
But we don't have to spend too much time on that. I think it'll be 30 minutes. We don't have to spend 30 minutes talking about it.
Ospreay winning across the board then, fellas?
Yes. Greg?
All right, there we go.
Chicago Street Fight for the CMLL Women's World Championship.
Not unlike the unsanctioned match, except this one counts.
This one does count, and there's no cage. Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander.
When they announced this, they didn't announce it for the title at first. I remember seeing the graphic, and there was nothing that said it was for the CMLL.
You gotta
Women's
ask for permission.
Yeah, because they just made it, and I was like, wait a minute. Didn't she beat her in an eliminator match like 2 weeks ago?
Knowing CMLL, it's hard to believe that you do actually have to ask permission for it because they don't give a shit.
Well, they're very happy with the relationship. I think both parties are. But yeah, Willow Nightingale and Chris
hey.
Statlander basically at the end of their long feud been going over, I'd say quite a few months now, because they also had the era where they were tag teaming. They've been in street fights together. I guess this has been building since then. But I think this is going to be a sleeper. People aren't really expecting this to be great, but Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander are great. I think they had that shitty match once, and they pretty much picked it up since then.
Yeah,
Every time
this is
they
absolutely
together.
their motivation from that bad match.
John, why AEW have so many titles?
Have so many titties is what it says, I think.
I was not letting that happen.
Tittles.
Shane Taylor?
That definitely says titties.
Oh, by the way, Tyler Helton also said Tony Khan's in trouble and being sued. He's being sued by Kevin Kelly, who in the lawsuit spelled Tony Khan's name wrong and said that Discord was Twitter.
We're going to talk about that in a second. That's actually really
fuck
funny.
the boys.
Fuck Kevin Kelly. Fuck the Sound of Freedom.
Yeah. But yet, moving on from that, we have the singles match for the TBS Championship. Mercedes
Still got it wrong,
Money.
Tyler.
Money.
God,
You're doing your best, Tyler.
Versus Hikaru Shida. Titties? That's definitely titties.
That's Tittle.
Tilly, my dog?
Yeah. She just comes running.
I was hoping that was this where we go running.
Oh,
wait a minute, we
Jesus
didn't
says
give
Willow's got a title defense for next week.
lined up.
Yeah, so
I think Willow should.
I think Willow.
Booking, giving away the booking. No,
but it wasn't because of that. It's just because of Willow's a white meat babyface, and she's getting screwed over by the heels, and it's like, they win. They win in the end. That's what they do. That's good. What about
All right,
you
just
guys?
to defy that, I'm going with Statlander.
Nice.
Break the
What-
chains.
go stick with Willow.
Mac?
I'm going with Willow.
Willow! Canceled Disney Plus revival. All right, so we got a Fatal 4-Way. We talked about that.
Rough, John.
We get the Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club. That came out of nowhere. They just were like, did anybody realize the Bucks weren't on the card?
Book them some more.
Book them! But, I mean, they're pretty much retaining here, right? They're facing
Good
the
title match.
Wheeler.
The trios champions are in a tag team championship match. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. But Pac is busy, so I guess. Yeah. What did you? So we're Young Bucks across the board.
I'd say so.
Yeah, probably.
Nice. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, I think what's his name? I think Wheeler's taking the fall in this match. You can't pin Claudio. He just won the CMML Grand Prix. He hasn't taken many pinfall losses in AEW, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks. Them having the belts right now is kind of part of their whole aura. It's just like they have all the championships. I don't know if you guys saw, but next week they announced Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite in a all-star 8-man tag.
That's for this Friday on AEW Collision.
Yeah.
Friday Collision.
So is Pac in the Blackpool Combat Club now? Because it's just
They are just friends.
Friends with benefits, and the benefits are the tag titles.
You see the thing I posted on in the DSR chat? And your friend Steve.
Oh yeah, you got. I
Yes, that
actually
shit is
posted
great.
that. I posted that shit the day of the show. I fucking love that video.
Man, Steve. Da, Steve.
Fucking crab dance.
I was sitting there just like, this is fucking perfect.
Dude, Blackpool Combat Club's like, we need to bleed together, we're brothers, we're hard asses, but hold on, let's bust out this Krusty Krab dance for a minute.
They're the best. And it's always Claudio. Claudio was the one that was doing the fusion dance with Sheamus, and they're like,
That's right.
badass dudes.
Yeah, those two are nerds. Like, there's there's a litany of things that was on those jackets. One of them was the fucking Pickle Rick.
Oh,
That's right.
No, really?
That's
Yeah.
right. We had that stitched on.
Oh, wow.
Daniel Garcia versus MJF. Pretty
Ugh.
much. They get the fuck out of here.
It's fucking Kobe Covington versus Nick Diaz.
I do not give a shit about Daniel Garcia. I'm sorry, guys. I know we agree on a lot of things.
You should be sorry.
I don't give a shit about Daniel Garcia, man.
I know. It's not that energy. I don't know if they got that energy in Boston. I don't know what a Boston ghetto look like. Daniel Garcia gives me all this right energy. Daniel Garcia could have lived around the corner from me. I could have bought weed from Daniel Garcia. That's why I love Daniel Garcia. I'm always
but Daniel Garcia in the ring and his persona in wrestling.
In the ring is the fucking best. What are you saying?
Listen. If you want to talk about his activities outside the ring,
no, I'm not talking about his activities outside the ring at all.
Like
I'm talking about. I'm talking about his real in-ring, on television energy when he grabs the mic and he talks when he's talking to MJF. Which, by the way, tonight, the fucking best promo I've ever seen. What the fuck? He's in it. But yeah, it's just his energy, not the videos online. Those are funny. That actually don't got nothing to do with anything. But I'm talking about Daniel Garcia as overall aura. That's just a dude from the fucking block. And I think that's because Buffalo is basically a dirty little upstate part of New York.
New York beef in Chicago.
The exact energy I always got from Daniel Garcia was like he reminds me of watching both Diaz brothers, really, from the UFC.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good
especially when he does that, like when he puts his hands up like that, just like it's the fucking Diaz thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate the Diaz brothers too,
because they're kind of hard to deal with.
they are pretty much assholes.
Yeah. But like, there's also you know a deep contingent of people who just love the Diaz brothers for their just like yo, I'll fucking fight you anywhere. Like that attitude lends itself to a lot of people.
I like I said, that's me. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I can see. Like I said, Mac is just a hater. It's that Boston. That's inherently Boston hating New York. He doesn't even know why. It's subconscious. He's like, I don't know. It's subconscious. You hate him because he's got New York energy, and you're
no. It has nothing to do with New York. I love New York. Listen, what do you think? You walk down an alleyway in Boston, and some Irish guy that looks like the Notre Dame logo is like, hey,
yes, actually, yes, and it's brick walls everywhere. I don't know why. I just see brick walls.
You're not wrong about that whatsoever.
Is it? I fucking knew it. No.
I was gonna say, why did that sound right?
Doesn't it just feel right?
Dude, it's one.
You want to get a scrap down at the wharf?
Nick, let me tell Nick and John, everybody. Let me tell you. There was one time I went to a hotel. Greg too, especially Greg. I went to a hotel one time, and I paid like $250 a night for this room. It was really nice. You opened up the shade, and it was just a brick wall.
That's incredible.
That sounds very New York City in my experience.
Where have I've
Dude,
seen
my office window looks right out to a brick wall, so I understand.
That's a fucking trope. That's like when you walk in the room and you're like, man, I bet you it's got a great view and it's a brick wall.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That's a TV gag, 100%.
Jesus brought up the fact that Daniel Garcia needs a big win on pay-per-view. And of course, if they do believe in him, if they want to go with him as any type of significant character on TV and make their money's worth that they just paid him, assuming that they paid him all this money that WWE is complaining about, then yeah.
Which now that triggers my wrestling logic, because I'm also thinking that MJF's going to probably get the victory because he just lost on the recent pay-per-view at All In.
Yeah, but he's more than okay right now. It's getting his, like, somebody getting payback on MJF doesn't hurt MJF. It's just like, you silly dick, you had that coming, and then he can move on to whatever.
I feel like I think MJF's going to take it this time.
Yeah, MJF just has the kind of like that shitbag personality. It doesn't really matter how much he loses. Like, he'll get his heat back.
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking of it too. I just think Daniel Garcia.
It's God. I realize as I said it how much of a cursed comparison it is, but it's a very Miz-like feature.
Oh, that's disgusting. That is horrible.
Yeah,
it's,
my heart says Garcia, but my brain is saying MJF.
Excuse me, I was yawning. I think it's reverse. My brain says that there's no. I mean, I think it'd be a stupid move to pin Daniel Garcia after paying him, after doing all this on television, after killing him and then not using him in Wembley beyond an appearance. I kind of think you just have to if you want goodwill. And unless they want to continue this MJF Daniel Garcia thing and maybe do a stip match in New York.
That's what I'm
Slam,
thinking.
because they're both New Yorkers. Then
do you want to split the New York crowd on that one?
Yeah, I mean, would they really be split? It's Queens, not Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, but like that Long Island. As someone who was there for that Joe MJF match, that Long Island came through. Good Lord, I wanted to die a little. As much as I wanted to die for him getting the Mets colors up there, but at the same time, like, you know, New York City doesn't lend itself well to the upstate contention.
It depends. I think MJF, New York City also is kind of weird about people from the Hamptons and shit like that. That's
what I'm saying. Like, you're from New York, but you ain't New York City. It's not the same.
Which is funny because they're both from not New York. Like, you're both
not New York.
Not New York.
You want New York?
Long Island technically.
Like, I consider Queens, Brooklyn, Harlem, Manhattan, like New York.
Yeah.
Just like in Boston.
Stop there.
Just like in Boston. No, I'm saying, like in Boston, if someone says, "Hey, I'm from Boston," you go, "Oh, really? Where are you from?" Springfield. Motherfucker, that is 3 hours south. Shut up.
What happens when they're from West Newbury? Is that?
Oh, dude, no, not even close. So listen. I'm gonna say, if you're from, well, there's a bunch of little like cities in Boston, like Brighton, Allston, Cambridge, Somerville. But if you're from Braintree, Weymouth, Quincy, or Dorchester, I'll say, yeah, you're from Boston. But if you're going like, hey, yeah, I'm from Situate, and it's like, no, motherfucker, you're not from Boston. Shut up.
You want the real Boston experience? You got to move out there with no plan and then end up living under the TD Bank. This is what it is, baby. That's how we go.
He's the Duke of Dorchester.
That's what I want for myself.
Right out this door. Right out this door, about a mile and a half,
TD Bank.
The TD Bank North Garden.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
And let me tell you something. When I put my address in to ship stuff to my house, I put Brighton and it recorrects and it says, "Do you mean Boston?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Oh man.
So
this is reminding me of the attitude you gave for like fucking Bruce Wayne, where it's just like, "Yeah, I'm from Gotham." Like, bitch, your house is 3 miles outside of the city.
You do not live in Gotham.
You are the outskirts, sir. If that.
Yeah. Anyway, we got one last match to talk about here. It's a pretty obvious one, but I wanted to talk about how we got here because we got Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW TBS Championship. Camille banned from ringside. I honestly feel like this match was booked specifically to make up for the Britt Baker one. Like we were like put her in a fucking work rate heavy match like immediately right now.
Put her in there with the Yakuza boss so they forget.
Right now.
Is Sheeta primed up for like a heel turn? Because I feel like she has been for a bit.
She has. They've been.
You've seen it too. Okay, it's not just me.
Yeah, she's been really cocky. She's been really aggressive. I think one Sky Blue really.
She called herself the Ace.
And she was like laughing at her face. She was like she was like celebrating shit. Like, fuck that injured bitch. But so I think they're gonna get a significant amount of time, maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes, and they're gonna go out there and have the best possible wrestling match that they can have as a pretty much makeup for the Britt Baker match. But I do think
she's gonna take that knee to the face.
Yeah, she better. But I think it's interesting that they've gone ahead and ignored Britt Baker's match entirely. They haven't mentioned Britt Baker's name on commentary in 2 weeks.
I think Mercedes said enough about it.
She was like, I wish I had done better. But I wish that bitch wasn't in the back starting drama and was focusing on wrestling me at Wembley Stadium. But here we are.
I wish that bitch wasn't so slow.
That's also, but I mean, that's the thing I didn't really think about. Like, Britt Baker was gone. Like, she had that stroke. Like, I didn't even.
Yeah.
She had a fucking stroke. First of all, like, why are you in the ring, bro? Second, clearly it's changed some things, and maybe I don't think she was prepared to she planned a match around her old body, and this is a new body that she had to plan a match around.
In you saying that, I just realized, like, you know that thing about like a poor, forgettable match, you just kind of forget that some spots happened. And I saw an Instagram clip where they're like talking about the match, and I'm watching highlights, and like they tried to do the fucking weird spot where like Sasha reverses the curb stomp a la Randy Orton, Seth Rollins into the powerbomb, and I'm like, neither of you are strong enough for that.
Didn't she like almost drop her ass? She struggled to get her up.
You're both somewhat frail.
This is one of those things where I watch women's matches. I just go to myself, like, I can't help but think to myself, like, you know damn well neither one of you are strong enough for that fucking idea. You fucking weirdos.
Look, Mercedes.
I respect them for trying.
Mercedes Moné. When Mercedes Moné went to the Indies, she was like, "Listen, I gotta beat the I'm only a WWE product." Like allegations. Let me think of the most contrived fucking finisher that I could.
Don't get John started.
That's a whole other issue, because I feel like no matter how good the match is with Shida on Saturday, that they're gonna reach that point at the end of the match, and it's gonna be like you know, it's that wind sucking thing. There's no pop. Like, people aren't excited to see it. You know, like usually if the move is over,
we're just worried at this point.
You know, but if the move is over, then the setup don't matter, because during the setup there, everybody's all excited, like, oh, she's gonna do it. Oh no, she wasn't able to do it. You know, whatever thing.
No, I think at this point people just get like scared, like, oh no.
You know,
really calls much attention to it. What was going to happen? Hey, it's the Renegade Sisters. Here they are.
She had this match with Momo, right, at the end at the New Japan show. Yeah, and I caught a clip of how she sold it. And I was like, wow, if only the American girls were half as good.
That's the rub. All of them are just like, all the good ones are the Stardom girls.
That's fucked up. Listen, you know what? You know how you fix that, right? You simply book Mercedes only against Stardom girls. Fuck it.
Hey, John, speaking of Stardom girls, I think I'm going to have to go because Tam Nakano just said that she wants to hold a one-night tournament at Korakuen Hall with the winner being her new husband.
Wait,
so,
what?
I'm going to...
I sent you this, John.
When is the date?
I don't know. She just said that she wants to hold a one-night tournament.
I like to imagine this like One Piece-esque opening, like all of us are on a boat, like around the world, people running to this tournament.
Making their way.
Okay, I'm looking at a compilation now, and I wanna give credit to Julia Hart, who actually sold the fucking finish well.
Julia did it good. There's probably one. It wasn't Kyrie either. I think Kyrie fucked it up too.
No, she fucked up the first time in the when Mercedes shows up, but in the actual match they get it.
She just go back to the bank, Steven. Fuck it.
Honestly.
But yeah, man,
She's avoided that move completely, hasn't she?
No, she did it.
She used it to finish Momo. She finished Momo with the.
She used the crossface on Momo.
Yeah.
Yeah, she calls it something else.
Oh, tapped out.
I think it's called shit.
We just transitioned back into that move, and we act like the other one didn't happen. I'll agree to act like it didn't happen. Listen, I'm all right with that. Don't worry about it.
Listen,
it's wrestling. You learn how to forget things.
When I was at Big Business, I was with my roommate. I turned to him and I go, I think I think this is the biggest pop she's going to get in
business.
AEW. I was like, this is probably the biggest pop she's going to get.
She got 3 years. She'll be all right.
You can always depend on that debut pop.
That's a big one, but it'll be.
Oh, yeah.
She'll be all right. They'll be bigger pops. They'll be big. She'll be over. She'll be more over in Texas.
Vakir sold it well, but she took her talents to New York.
She's very excited. They want me. They want me. Well, they didn't want you before that match. I don't know. I would be suspicious. I mean, that's AEW All Out. Our predictions for the show.
Wait, we got Brian.
I wanted to close
Jack
that up.
Perry?
Oh shit! I forgot.
I was gonna say. I feel like there's something else.
I did forget that match entirely because I thought I did it with after Swerve and Hangman. I was supposed to. But that's right. Jack Perry versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. People were really mad that it was Jack Perry, and I was laughing because I was like, it's 2 weeks. It's a 2-week build. He's a chicken shit heel. They have a built-in story reason. I think that's exactly the person you want to beat. like right now, just Jack Perry tries real hard and gets pinned because he's a dickhead. Like that's nobody cares. Tomorrow it doesn't matter.
I think I sent that text from to the chat of that tweet where I forget the name of the site, but it's one of those dog shit Twitter sites where the guy was like, "Oh, Sammy saying that he wants a shot at Gunther's title makes perfect sense since he was the last one to pin Sammy." And then he was like, "Why the fuck are they giving Jack Perry a title shot? That doesn't make any sense. Tony in the dirt. AEW dead." And someone was like, "Oh, but Jack Perry was the last one to pin Bryan Danielson at Anarchy in the Arena," and they were like, "Yeah, but Sammy rules and Jack Perry sucks." I'm like, "Okay, you just completely lost."
Yeah, that's what happens when you present your fucking opinion as an objective thing. Like you just like Sami Zayn, you don't like Jack Perry. That's ultimately what it is.
Boys.
Which is okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that, but say it.
Yeah, I think that sort of methodology is tricky. I get it. I guess people just are not excited about Jack Perry. I think a lot of it is this idea that obviously, despite the way they built the All In match, we still know that the clock is ticking, and there is the penchant to want every Bryan Danielson match left to be like maybe not necessarily a dream match, but like something of heightened significance to them.
Get Nigel.
You gotta get Nigel at some point, especially they've been teasing that so long. The feud's been perfectly there for decades.
5 minutes on Dynamite. Let's do
exactly.
It.
You literally addressed it in the Casino Gauntlet itself. Just do it.
I think that had a lot to do with it. I think in their minds they want the Bryan Danielson farewell tour to be all like, just bangers with guys they feel are on that elevated level. Like, if this match was Samoa Joe, nobody would say a word.
What up, Elliot? I agree.
The thing with the Bryan Danielson and Jack Perry matches is that it gives you that wiggle room where you know that Bryan's not going to win. I mean, I'm sorry, that Jack Perry's not going to win. So it gives you that. It gives you that, like, because you don't want to go like right out. You don't want to go like, "Oh, hey, it's Takeshita versus Bryan," and you're like, "Oh, fuck."
Shit, fuck. Yes, I do.
Well, I think a lot of people would be much more excited if it was Takeshita versus Bryan, though.
But what I'm saying is, it makes sense. It makes sense because you go, okay, Bryan's going to beat him, so obviously Bryan's sticking around a little bit longer, at least until Grand Slam. And then he's probably going to beat Darby at Grand Slam. And then you go, well, okay, it's his last match is in Washington, It keeps the storyline alive. It makes sense, because Jack Perry pinned him and he's the champion now. And Jack's like, well, I pinned you. I was the last person to pin you. But it also makes sense because he's not going to win. You're going to get a good match, but Bryan's sticking around because he literally said, the minute I drop this title, I'm out of here. I'm
so, So if I were to present the argument I want to present toward that to some degree is I think that idea works a lot better in today's WWE PLE style than when you want me to buy a $60-$70 pay-per-view.
Okay.
This was a two what you call it?
That's
Double
2
pack.
weeks or 3 weeks after the other $70 pay-per-view I bought.
With 1 million matches on it.
No, I think they sold these as a bundle. I bought them.
Yeah.
You can, but like, you know what I mean.
I bought them as a bundle. They came.
That was actually
We're not going to discuss how you bought them, John.
No, but you can buy them. Americans were able to buy them as a bundle too.
Yes, but not for what you did.
No, I paid $30, I think.
Like, exactly.
$35 on Triller.
So they should use their fucking VPNs.
Yes, they should go to comicbookclick.com and go to the very bottom. Yes, we are. Go to comicbookclick.com, scroll to the very bottom of the page and go to NordVPN. Click on there. You will be getting 72% off your purchase of NordVPN.
72.
72% by 1 year trial.
Shit.
You also get a NordPass as well on there.
I have
it
this
out.
dream. I have this
Oh
dream
my
of Kenny
God.
Omega showing back up before Brian leaves. Please,
One more time.
don't go. I would accept that as Brian's final match. Do you think I would?
Sure.
Fuck yeah. What?
I think AEW has done a pretty damn good job over the past 2 weeks after All In, resetting and giving us fresh matches that not only make sense, but are going to be pretty damn fucking good.
I just have the thought in my head right now of Christian Cage is going to run in, end Brian's career, and it's going to be a thing. Instead of your father is dead, your career is dead.
I
no.
killed Brian's career.
Well,
I
here's the
forgot
thing. Here's the thing.
has
Brian
that.
said that he's not. That he said he would end his career and never wrestle again if Swerve beat him. But now he goes, "Yeah, I'm gone. I'm done as a full-time wrestler after I dropped this title." Keyword: full-time wrestler. He's
Yeah,
going to
that's
come
true.
back in some capacity. He's going to get that neck surgery. He's going to be gone for like a year. Then he'll come back and probably do something.
Remember when this
Yeah,
was
but I
going to
think-
be the year that Dustin Rhodes was going to retire?
Never
Jesus.
mind.
I think it's still definitely very possible that like Brian's gonna do that, one spot here and one spot there match, but like at that point though, it's probably not gonna be anywhere near being
Yeah.
believable that Brian's gonna be the main event of anything.
It's going to be like more of the novelty for it. And
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we had his whole run. I mean, shit. Do we finally get this little main event run? Let me bask in it for a little bit.
Look at how good, look at the quality of matches that Edge put on being part-time. I mean, I know when he was in WWE, he was around probably a lot more frequently than Brian's going to be in AEW, but it's been proven that these guys don't lose it. They don't lose it at all. They come back and it's like riding a bike. I mean, I saw an interview with Bryan Danielson, and he was like, he's like, as soon as I left WWE and I was wrestling that style, and then I came back to AEW and I wrestled Kenny Omega at Grand Slam, he's like, it was just like riding a bike. It was just like I clicked it back on and I was like, oh, So I'm sure he could take a year off, maybe even 2 years off, and come back and have a 30-minute semi-main event match with somebody.
We'll see. We will see. We've got
Years
the
ago.
That's just me. That's me projecting.
No.
That's me doing my hocus pocus and going, please come back.
Hopefully. I mean, if it all ends in Washington, then I'll be there. So don't come back. Actually, don't stay home.
Allow me to have this moment.
Let me keep
I
that.
mean-
Undertaker took it from me.
Here's one of the things to consider too is
Shit,
just
I
the
guess
fact
he
that
did,
look at all
didn't
the advancements in sports medicine that's been going on. You have a lot of wrestlers now more than ever that have been competing well into their 50s and putting on still quality matches.
You leave Dory Funk out of this.
Oh, I said quality, Greg.
Quality.
John, I know exactly how you feel. When I was at WrestleMania 14, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm at Shawn Michaels' last match." Well, not when I was there, but when it happened, they were like, "Oh, Shawn's getting back surgery, he's retiring." I was like, "Oh man, I can't believe I can say I was at Shawn Michaels' last match, and then that son of a bitch had to come back in 02. You motherfucker!"
To
It's
that
okay,
point,
he was better.
To that point,
he
a
was
good
better.
friend of
Yeah, he was
mine.
better, yeah.
Thanks, Lloyd's of London.
To that point, a good friend of mine thought she was at Sean's last match at WrestleMania, and then he came back from the fucking Saudi show.
No, he didn't.
What? No, he didn't come
That
back.
never
He
happened.
never came back. That's
What
what
is
Never
Greg
he's
talking about?
Non-canon, Greg.
Not
What is
Greg.
Greg even talking about? That's
Greg,
fucking
did you-
crazy.
Greg, did you hit your fucking head? What are you doing?
Imagine Shawn Michaels comes back. That would be awesome.
Right, you know what would have been even more funny? Imagine if he was like bald.
No, he would never.
DX versus Brothers of Destruction. Can you imagine?
Oh man.
It'd
And that
be
wonky
awesome.
eye was even wonkier.
Oh man.
So we're gonna.
I laugh at the idea that he mentions the picture of him laying on Hunter's chest and just going, maybe we're too old for this.
Yeah.
Hunter, I'm sorry. I thought I could go, but I can't feel my leg.
I can't fucking go either, Sean.
Oh,
Not good.
Paul, I knocked off Glenn's wig. Oh no.
Maybe this is a bad idea.
Maybe.
So
So,
plus years in the ring together.
Now that is AEW All Out. That's
Yeah.
That's the pay-per-view. That's our
We are all
prediction.
out of matches for All Out.
All out.
All out of matches, and guess what, fellas? I am all out of time for being on the show, so it was nice to be hanging out with the boys, and I will be catching all of you next time.
I
Have a
will
good
hear
night.
from you